Hey guys, it's Amber, and I'm starting the process video for my title page to the California album, as well as some travel day photos. So it's like day one. What I'm trying to work on here is the intro and deciding which of the photos I want to work with here. I had taken some pictures outside of the played window, and I have that awesome Kelly Perky card that shows the view from a plane window, which is really cool and works really well with the bright colors of the photos I have here. So I'm also pulling out my plane ticket information. I don't have any actual tickets. They must have confiscated them when we boarded, and so all I have is a printout of the flight info. So I'm just going to take my 4x6 template there, figure out where I want to trim out, and then I'll have a 4x6 copy of that out of the 2 pages. I don't need to save both. There's a lot of information there that was unimportant. So I'm pulled out some of the puffy sticker tags on the left-hand side. They're from the 2020 Allie Edwards travel kit, and some rubber pieces from an older kit. I'm not even sure exactly where they came from. I think they're an add-on. And thinking about trying to use those, I don't end up using any of them on this layout, even though I really wanted to. The plane was green and everything else was blue. I wanted to use an idea that Allie had on her start to finish travel workshop, where she includes tons of pockets on the outside, and some of the pockets she used were 2x2, and she tucked those little foam pieces into, and I planned to use them. The black was just really stark compared to the pictures and the embellishments that I'm using here. So my original plan was just to have the plane photos be front and back of one page, and then I decided to make the first page more of an intro page and to have the photos be more like a spread on the inside. So I'm grabbing right there. I've gotten my photo positions figured out. I'm taking my bag tag sticker, adding it to some just scrap weight piece of paper, and I'm going to cut it out. And I end up also, I'm not sure if you can see on the left-hand side or not, but I have some clear acetate pieces with like a map geographic pattern on them that were from the 2020 travel collection. And I'm going to end up using one of those, but right now I'm just considering some cards from In a Creative Bubble that have some of the peachy orange tones. Sorry, here I am yawning. Peachy orange tones to them that kind of help balance out the bright blues and match the colors of the Southwest plane you see out of the window. So there you see, I was just considering some alternatives. I really wanted to use that puffy sticker because it was mountains, but it just didn't look right. So there you see, I finally figured out, this bag tag on this suitcase would make a cool see-through pocket. So I'm just checking to see if there's any other pieces that would look good instead, like the globe, but it's just quite a little too big to fit on there, and it really fits inside that little suitcase well. So I'm going to tuck it in the pocket for now, because I'm being a little indecisive. So jumping to the title page, I have picked out some papers from Pink Fresh Studios. It's actually the front and the back of the same pattern, I believe, with the geotags and the map pattern. And what I'm doing on the bottom here is I've picked an In a Creative Bubble card that was part of I'm trying to think who the release was. It was recent, with Feed Your Craft, and there was a bunch of little blocks on there, and it was a very stark white and black card, so I wanted to add a little color to it. So the part where it says additional comments for the travel log, I'm just covering up with a little piece of scrap paper and just kind of rearranging stuff as I go here, as I'm thinking about how I want my layout to look balanced. So here I am still changing my mind and making decisions, because I added that little scrap down on the bottom right, I wanted the more multicolor paper to be on the left so it looked more balanced, is basically what I'm doing. So now I'm grabbing my pen and I'm going to start filling it out. And I like the way it looks with the handwriting, but I kind of wish I had used some multicolored stickers to fill in some of the numbers. Like for the locations, it didn't really matter. You can see there I was counting on my fingers trying to figure out how many days it was from the 12th to the 21st of May in 2012. And so, like I said, I wish I had used some number stickers, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. And I'm not going to redo it or anything. So here I'm grabbing some scrap paper and I'm going to be making a flip up on the very first page. So I'm grabbing a piece of scrap paper and I'm cutting it to 2x6 and folding it in half so that it's 1 inch wide. And I'll show you here how I put the flip up together. So I'm just using my scissors there to help me crease it really nice and tight. I'm going to start with the bottom back of the card. So I'm using 2 long strips of rolling adhesive. And I'm going to paste that on the inside. It's going to be sandwiched in between the back cards. So that will be the opposite side. And then now I'm going to put the plain info. That'll be on the inside bottom of the flip out. So that's going to be attached on top of the card for the back side. Just making a little trim. And then the photo of the airport gate of all the planes is going to be on the inside part of the flip up, so I'm adding that next. And then the travelog card will be on top, so that's going on last. And you can do this in any order. I just find that when I'm thinking about these, that's the easiest way to process it. So I'm just adding adhesive and I'm actually folding it in half before I apply the next card just so I can see where everything's going to fit. And one of the sides needs a little bit of a trim because it's a little uneven. And I tried peeling it apart there just to straighten it out more, but wasn't really able to move it much anyway. So I adjusted it a little and then still had to trim. And then I'm sliding it down into the pocket and really happy with how that came out. I think it turned out really cute. So one of the things I do, if you've ever followed my videos for a long time, is I back everything to the card that's behind it. So I just use a little adhesive in the corners and then I trim off any edges. I don't like uneven pieces to be showing through when you're flipping through an album. So once I've made a decision and I'm finalizing my design, then I'll start attaching things back to back. So just working through that and cutting through most of it because it takes a lot of time, but something that I really believe, and I do it for every single scrapbooking project that I do. So next I'm going to grab my tiny attacher and I'm going to staple that little bag tag onto that clear acetate piece. But before I do that, I need to peel off the backer. So took care of that, got it lined up where I wanted. And I'm not even going to attach this to acetate or anything. The item is so small and the pocket's so deep, I'm not really worried about it going anywhere. So I'm just sliding it inside. And then my next step here is doing some decorating on the California card. So I took a pink sticker from that Studio Calico sticker sheet that says Adventure, and it fit perfectly inside some of the letters there. So it just says California Adventure, and then I'm using those blue Ellie's Studio stickers to spell out May of 2012. Really simple. In fact, I don't even have any journaling on where I'm going or who I'm spending time with, but I will probably print something like an itinerary out and add that on somewhere in the beginning of the album. So here I had printed out some extra photos, or I enlarged 2 that were actually already printed in 4x6 form onto a 19x13, and I'm just trimming everything down. And now I'm jumping into adhering a pocket to the outside of the page protector, which is something that I briefly mentioned earlier, but it's an idea that Ali Edwards had in her 2020 travel class. It's really fun. Gives you an extra way to include more embellishments. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the ride card from being at the Santa Monica Pier with my friend. It's a little bit smaller than 3x4, so I didn't want too much plastic floating around, so I'm grabbing some Basil Avalanche cardstock to cut to an exact 3x4, and then I'm using red line tape to adhere the pocket to the outside of the pocket. And in Allie's class, she made everything look like tags or punched holes or added twine. I didn't really feel like this needed anything like that, and so I just added it onto the outside, and I think that looked fine. It was a nice way to use up some dead space. So now I'm working on the top left part of the card. The layout, I'm sorry. I'm adding a business card to a restaurant that we went to, just to some Basil cardstock in the same color. The reason I went with this color is because it's a creamier tone, and the postcard on the bottom is cream, not white. So it kind of helps pull everything together. So I just wrote a little bit of journaling saying, like, literally they picked me up from the airport, we went to dinner, and then we went to the Santa Monica Pier. So then I'm about to start working on this tag here when I didn't realize my footage had ran out. So I'm unfortunately not able to show you, but I am going to include some close-ups here. You'll see that chipboard heart is on the side. I haven't decided yet if that is exactly the embellishment that's going to be on my front page, but I'm pretty sure it is, so it's just tucked in there for now. So hope you're enjoying following along with me and you're inspired to work on your own travel albums. Thanks so much. Bye.